Akash Inti, the real reflection of you. Today's on business and what's going on with me. Full transparency, full disclosure, I am $63,000 in debt right now. And why do I say that? Because I want to be real with you guys. I want to show you what's going on with me, and I have no shame for it. Because I know I'm building my business, and that's what it takes. It takes the ability for someone to trust within themselves that much to be able to know that I can move forward. And I know where I'm going, money's not an issue, it's really not. And to be able to go through the dark days of quote unquote being this much in debt, whatever, it is. That aside though, what have I learned? I mean, most people would be like, dude, how are you that much in debt? Like, what have you been spending your money on? Like what's going on with you, And my answer to that is self-knowledge. That's all I've been spending my money on, is learning more about myself. And to me, that's the only and worthy investment in today's day and age. Like, it's not worth anything to me to spend money on a stock. It's not worth anything to me to spend money on a bond. It's not worth anything on me to spend money on real estate. And what do I mean by it's not worth anything to spend money on these things? Well, it all depends on the time horizon. Again, investments are hugely critical for time horizon. So to me, I'm 25 right now. Early on in my life, to be able to spend so much money on myself is so much more worthy of an investment than me to spend money on a stock, a bond, or some other thing. Why? Because I know the investments that I put into myself, the money that I spend on myself, by putting that money into myself, by spending that money on myself, and doing something with that knowledge that I receive, that knowledge that's been granted to me through the tradition of being passed from teacher to student, I can do something and implement something with this for the rest of my life. Versus a stock, bond, real estate transaction, yeah, I would get some type of cash flow coming in for the next period of time. If it's a stock, I might get a dividend every quarter. If it's a bond, I might get a what are these called? A coupon payments every quarter. Real estate transaction, I might get a rent check every single quarter or every single month. But in each of those types of assets, I'm not receiving any knowledge. I'm getting money, and there is something to be said about that. Money is definitely valuable. But in this time period right now of COVID-19, none of that money is almost promised. In other words, the whole stock market has crashed. Many of the stocks have crashed. Bonds payments or debt repayments have been, companies aren't sure if they can make a lot of these payments back, because a lot of the times these companies don't have people paying for these things. So there's just been a huge wrench thrown into the whole operation. And to me, it's spending money on myself, spending money on my own knowledge, and spending on my own learning is so much more valuable, because whatever happens throughout this whole thing, let's say the whole economy collapses and it's just shit hits the fan. Well, at least I have all of that knowledge that's been accrued, versus if I had a stock in a company and that company goes bankrupt, well, that's there's no value to that. Or if it's a debt repayment as well, company goes bankrupt again. Yeah, maybe I'm closer in line to be getting my money back, but again, there's no promise that I get my money back. Same thing with real estate. Let's say the tenant is not able to pay me anything back. Well, I have the property itself, but if there's no one around to be able to fill that property, then it's useless. Whereas the knowledge, to me, I'm the one who's able to apply it in any way, shape, or form. So that's looking at worst case scenario. Looking at best case scenario, let's say that market it soars. Stocks obviously would raise in value. Bonds, there would be no difference. I would just get my bonds, coupon payments, and rents. I would just probably have a tenant that's able to pay me. And again, I'm only looking at these three asset classes. I'm sure obviously there's commodities out there. There's so many other things out there, that ETFs, mutual funds. There's so many things out there that I'm not including in this whole thing. But with self-investment, let's say the market goes up, well, I'm in for a wild ride to be able to share the teachings that I've received to others, and others will be able to pay me. So why am I saying all of this? Well, again, it's to be transparent. I don't know, some people might think my lifestyle is super glamorous, that I've been going on all these trips, and like prior to COVID-19, I'm always dressing up in these like fancy costumes and outfits. I've got a decent car and whatnot. Yet at the same time, I'm dirt broke, and I'm making steps. I'm taking the steps to realize my dream, to be my own boss, to share the teachings that I've received with others, and most importantly, to provide back to those who've provided to me, to give 10 times more than I've ever received, and to share with my world everything that I've learned. Money's not that important. It's a number. It does provide for the basic necessities. But the most important thing is the relationships that I have, the peace of mind that I have, and the love that I can share. Keep up, thrive, and stay sexy.